This behavior turns women off almost instantly. I was having a conversation with a client yesterday and we were talking about this idea of reactivity. How reactive should you be as a man in your interactions with women? Well, obviously there's a spectrum of, on the one hand, ice cold German, one might say, and now the Germans are going to disagree. We're not that ice cold. We feel emotions. I know. I get it. I'm German. But just for the sake of the argument, on the other side of the spectrum is the complete extreme child, jumping up and down, borderline personality disorder, completely emotionally dysregulated. Every single word she says, you take completely and utterly serious and you jump around like a ball. You know, one of those, balls that you throw onto the ground and they jump. I don't know what you call them. We call them Flummi in German, Flummi. So the question is, how reactive should you be? Well, most of you should be a lot less reactive than you currently are. Most of you take women way too serious at the level of the words. Now, that does not mean that you shouldn't respect them, that you shouldn't be kind, and that you shouldn't take women serious. Absolutely you should. But you shouldn't take every single one of their words so serious. If she gives you approval, you lighten up. If she agrees with you, you feel great. If she disagrees, if she teases you a little bit, you base your entire emotional reality and stability on the reactions you get from her. And what I would encourage you to do is to center yourself and ground yourself and not be so reactive. Now, some people, especially the Eastern European ones, they should probably be a little bit more reactive, show some more emotions. And you also have to do that as well. In a minute, I'm going to talk about why you should become more reactive and show more emotions. That's also important. But you shouldn't be too reactive to what she's saying, because it's a little bit windy, guys, deal with it, it's still epic content. In every interaction where a man and a woman get together, in any interaction, a business scenario as well, there's one person who is a little bit more grounded in their own reality than the other person. And what you want to have happen is you want her to be more reactive to you than you are to her, because you might call this a game, this is not some pickup artist nonsense, but it's absolutely a dynamic that most men violate, which is one of many reasons why women lose interest in them. And if you become too reactive, if you seek her approval too much, if you get too excited, if you get a compliment from her, if you react to her behaviors, verbal as well as nonverbal, too strongly, and you don't create your own emotional reality from within based on what you believe is right and appropriate, she will perceive you as not as confident and not a man worthy having a relationship with. Because again, you have to understand that women map your current behavior towards future behavior. So she's always going to unconsciously ask herself, even if she already has children, is this guy going to be a good father? Is he strong? Is he protective? Is he going to be able to withhold life's challenges, and not only withhold them, not only survive, but actually thrive and make something amazing out of it for the family? Even if she already has family and you don't necessarily want more children in case you already have some, she's still going to unconsciously map your current behavior into that direction of future behavior. Apologies, this bench is a little bit uncomfortable, but we chose it to get the boat in the background. Why did we need a boat? I don't know. I decided today we have to have a boat. So the important thing is, I'm talking to a camera right now. There's nothing giving me validation or approval at this point in time. I'm getting nothing. So I completely have to create confidence, emotions from within. Obviously there's a talk track, there's an idea that I want to convey. That's at the forefront of this. But if you're just staring into a camera, then you need to be able to derive a sense of certainty from within. And I believe that's one of the most important tasks we have as men, which is to create certainty from within. Life is ultimately uncertain. You have control over very few. The only thing you really have control over is the internal. What you focus on, the meaning you give things. The outside world we can influence, and there's a lot we can do. But we don't have ultimate control. You don't have ultimate control over whether the date goes well or not. But if you are grounded enough in your own sense of reality as a man, in your own sense of identity as a man, then it doesn't really matter what happens on the outside. I will bring it a sense of calmness and confidence and intimacy if it's appropriate, because I know that's what's right, because it's an authentic expression of who I am and what I want to achieve. That client of mine that I was speaking to, he was way too reactive. She would give him a compliment. He's like, wow, we're going on a date. That's amazing. It's like, oh no, she flaked. Oh, she said this. Oh my God. She texted me this. Whoa. And now, while you might not have these reactions so strong outwardly, I know they're still happening on the inside, because it was the same with me. When I was married to my ex-wife, my emotional reality completely depended on her. Reactions, behaviors, the validation, the approval I got. Listen to this. So, okay, I'm not going to go into too much detail here because I don't want to, share too many of my politically incorrect opinions. Okay, I'm just going to give you one. So, my ex-wife, no, I can't go into that. Apply for a free initial call and we can have a personal conversation about this. But let's say we disagreed on some values. And instead of me authentically communicating my disagreeableness, I wanted the love and connection so bad that I would outwardly communicate that value as my own. I know it's a little bit difficult without context, but you've done this before. If we stay on the meta level, it's fine, because you're obviously an intelligent man, otherwise you wouldn't be watching this video right now. You're obviously able to apply this to your own situation, where women have said something to you and you change your opinion, or at least you didn't authentically, radically, honestly communicate your distaste for it. Why do we do that? Well, because we have values as human beings. We want to be seen and respected by women. We want to authentically express ourselves. Freedom of expression, those are values. Fine. In other words, emotional states we want to experience and things emotional states we would like other people to experience. But beneath all of that, which is a much stronger driver for our daily actions, is psychological needs we have. And one of the most important psychological needs we have is the one for love and connection. And we as human beings, we're going to sacrifice our values to meet our needs. So I was willing to change my opinions and make foul compromises with my ex-wife to get love, in essence. And we've all done that. The problem is that is a short-term strategy. You are avoiding short-term conflict, but what's happening is you're destroying your long-term peace and harmony. I would offer you quite the opposite. Be willing to step into constructive criticism. Now, don't be having logical arguments or debates on the first date. That's not appropriate. 90% fun and playful. But you have to be willing to playfully disagree and be grounded enough in your own sense of identity and not be too reactive, and step into constructive conflict if necessary. Because addressing the elephant in the room, expressing your opinions unapologetically, unashamedly, still respectful, still kind and still calibrated, but way more radically, honestly, unashamedly, may cause a little bit of friction in the short term, but it will ensure long-term peace. You've experienced that perhaps with family members of yours, where certain things, were left unsaid for years and years and years. And what happens? Well, you end up resenting that person. Instead of having a healing, loving conversation and just bringing it all up, not in an accusatory fashion, but with the aim to seek peace, but you need to talk about what happened. Instead of just addressing these things and ensuring that you'll have peace, you avoid short-term conflict, and there's resentment. Resentment is one of many forms in which the drama unfolds later on that comes as a result of not stepping into constructive conflict because you are emotionally too reactive. So here's my invitation for you. Create the emotions that you want from within. That is something that you have to learn to do. And you're absolutely able to do that. Gunther Schmidt, one of Germany's best psychologists, says we can prime any resourceful state we like. Once we've experienced it, it's in there and we won't get it out. So you can prime it. You just need to make a decision to assume that. If a degree of confidence is what you want to feel, well, then you have to understand, yeah, partially it comes from competence. Learn the dynamics. Second, it's a sense of control over my own focus, my language patterns, and my physiology state. And third, it's osmosis. You also need to spend time with high-quality men who are genuinely confident. It's absolutely crucial that you make the decision to develop that sense of confidence from within, if that's the emotional experience you'd like to prime. Maybe another emotional experience you'd like to prime is a sense of intimacy. And even the way you use your voice and you look into her eyes should signal to her that you're a man who's not here just for a friendship. Now, she can always decide how far this interaction goes, completely up to her. But if she's going to continue the interaction with you, it's going to be a romantic frame. And even the way you look at her, the way you speak, the way your voice sounds changes a little bit if you introduce a degree of intimacy and man-to-woman connection, if you get what I'm saying. Now, in order for her to feel what you would like her to feel, you have to be able to generate those emotions from within, regardless of the approval you get. Now, remember how I said earlier, you should actually express some more emotions? Yes, some of you are also a little bit too cold on the outside. You experience all this emotional drama on the inside, or at least quite heavy ups and downs, but you don't really express the emotions in a calibrated and exciting fashion to the outside. So what would be a good way to be reactive? Well, if she tells you something you genuinely like, then you should tell her, hey, that's really awesome. That's actually really cool. But not like, wow, that's amazing. Oh, this is actually really cool. Now, if Fernanda tells me a joke and it's funny, I wholeheartedly laugh. I'm not pretending to be this cool guy who can't laugh ever, because then I would be giving up my value as a man. She's going to lose respect for me because I'm too reactive. I don't want to be a robot either. So I wholeheartedly embrace this idea of showing emotions when it's appropriate. I wholeheartedly embrace the idea of reacting to the beautiful things. The stories she tells, the jokes she makes, because how else are you going to have a human connection? Because you want to be vulnerable, you want to be open and connecting. But that doesn't mean that you need to overly exaggerate those. Passion, communicate your passion, communicate your passion for the hobbies and the jobs you have. If you really care about the business you run, if you care about the job you have, if you recently picked up jiu-jitsu, acro yoga, rock climbing, whatever it is, communicate that with a sense of passion. And if she then says she likes that as well, yeah, show a little bit of emotion, but then back to baseline. So show these emotions, but calm and back to baseline. And you are at the cause of the emotions that you desire, not at the effect. If you want me to help you with that personally, if you want me to help you find the right girlfriend, life partner, or wife, simply apply for a free initial consultation call. I'm looking forward to speaking with you soon. Take care.